While the shadow is just a counterpart of what the individual presents to be, there are other archetypes that are more specific to each of the sexes. The anima and the animus represent a denial even greater than that of the shadow itself, the denial of opposite sex. Where the shadow is about finding what is denied and what is hidden within oneself, the anima and the animus is more like an object of motivation, an object of desire, which is driven by being different from our own characteristics, there which we lack, so to speak. If a man gives his life to his goals, woman gives it to people, to affections, to love. There are counterparts of anima and animus. The first, the anima, animates life, and the animus directs these animations to a specific goal. It is worth remembering that the etymology of the word man in Old English referred to all humans without distinction, whether men, children, women, etc. However, at some point of separations of woman or women were made, perhaps out of necessity or for better coordination of social life. The anima is a factor in the true sense of the word. We cannot make it, but it is always there as a priori of our moods, of our reactions, of our impulses, and of all psychic spontaneities. These messages may not reflect well in our current society, but we must remember, as we saw earlier, that these distinctions are made in human physiology itself and in neurochemical reactions of the brain. Imagining the anima as the origin of our psychic events, we can also imagine how the hormone progesterone, which is much more abundant in women, is in fact a hormone that generates testosterone in individuals, the more abundant hormone in men. Furthermore, mitochondria, which are nature's energy cells, are most passed down to us by our mothers, while the mitochondria of our parent, of our dad's sperm, are discarded by the egg during fertilization. And this is why, in most genetic research, our genes are always greater in relation to our mothers than to our fathers. How interesting is that, isn't it? But it's worth remembering that we have genes from both our mothers and our fathers in a way, which is why, and this is Jung's statement on the subject, that we have within ourselves this duality of both the feminine and the masculine. And that is why we all have both archetypes within us. And the integration or to integrating each of them within us is what leads us to this wholeness, to the self, to the completeness. It is not about telling people how they should be. It is more about telling how they are and what they can do to become more complete or to express themselves better. The integration of their opposite side, whatever that may be. The anima wants life. It wants both good and bad. Jung associates the anima with the tempting serpent, destroyer of moral inhibitions. In men, the image of the anima is usually projected onto women, often younger men, serving as an image of judgment, making many of these men unable to talk to this woman, while for others it becomes an obsession, as if it were the only thing they may be interested in. This same anima can appear as an angel of light, or a psychopompos, as Jung put it, and lead him, the man, to his highest meaning, as stories like Faust shows. And if the confrontation with the shadow is the work of the apprentice, the confrontation with the anima is the masterpiece. It is another test of courage, a trial by fire for the spiritual and moral forces of man, acting in duality, reining him to vices or animating his courage to more daring acts, either for wars, for enterprises, for life and death situations. For women, the animus embodies aggression, ferocity, and risk-taking, silent, stubborn, and malevolent ideas. But they can help you take actions, to speak out, and to find wisdom. For men, the anima embodies their feminine characteristics of moodiness, of intuition, and even irrationality. We imagine that this is the difference between a personality trait of agreeableness or disagreeableness. While we need to master within ourselves the part of the trait that is opposite to us in order to better know how to deal with other people around our world. By integrating the anima / the animus, reach the archetype of the self, or the whole, which is, in Jungian psychology, the purpose of life. Because it is in complete expression that we have the individual. Just as the sun is the center of the galaxy, the self acts as the center of the psyche between consciousness and the unconscious, something we will see more about in the next video.